Instant coffee has come a long way since its introduction in 1890. From a novelty product, it has become a daily source of energy for millions of people, from hurried commutes to late-night study sessions. The leader is Nescafé, Nestlé's instant coffee. Every day, the brand serves up to 1 billion cups of coffee, a scale supported by more than 100,000 farmers around the world, especially in Brazil and Vietnam. Together, they supply more than 13 million bags of coffee beans each year to Nestlé's 24 factories, where the beans are transformed through modern technology into tiny spoonfuls of a hot cup of coffee. But how did instant coffee become a global icon? And how does Nescafé maintain its leadership in this multi-billion-dollar industry? Let's explore the journey of a coffee in seconds, but decades to perfect. The idea of instant coffee first emerged in 1890, when New Zealand inventor David Strang created the first version. But the product was quickly abandoned due to poor quality. It wasn't until 1938, when Nestlé launched Nescafé, which used a modern extraction and drying method that retained most of the essential oils and flavors of the coffee bean, that the drink really took off. During World War II, American soldiers considered a hot cup of coffee medicine for the soul, bringing alertness and comfort. After the war, soldiers brought the habit home, fueling the global popularity of Nescafé across the Americas, Europe, and Asia. Today, Nescafé is available in more than 180 countries, not only a commercial success, but also a story of a simple idea becoming a global cultural icon. Farm coffee. The journey of a cup of Nescafé begins far away, on farms across Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia, Ethiopia. These are lands that have all the right conditions for coffee trees to grow and produce the best quality coffee beans. Climate and soil conditions. Coffee trees cannot be grown just anywhere. They require a tropical climate, a stable temperature of 18 to 25 degrees Celsius, and an altitude of 600 to 2,000 meters above sea level. This altitude makes the coffee tree grow more slowly. The beans accumulate more sugar and essential oils, thereby creating a rich flavor. The most suitable soil is basalt or red soil, rich in minerals and with good drainage. Coffee tree life cycle. When newly planted, coffee trees need 3 to 4 years to start harvesting. Each tree can live for 20 to 30 years, but the peak productivity period usually falls between the first 7 and 15 years. During this time, the tree will continuously go through cycles of blooming for a few short days, then quickly fall off, fruit, and ripen. Coffee cherry. After 6 to 9 months, the flowers turn into small, bright red fruits called coffee cherries. On the outside is a thin shell. Inside is a slightly sweet flesh, and deeper inside are 2 green coffee beans. These coffee beans will later be roasted, ground, and extracted to create the cup of Nescafé you drink every morning. Golden time to harvest. Farmers need to wait patiently until about 95% of the berries on the tree turn red. This is the golden time. If picked too early, the beans will be immature, astringent, and bland. But if left too late, the berries will ferment, affecting the quality. Manual harvesting. On small farms, manual picking is still the most common method. Farmers move between rows of trees, selecting ripe berries, ignoring the green ones. This work is very labor-intensive. One person can only pick a few dozen kilos per day. But in return, this method produces beans with high uniformity, with few immature beans. Mechanized harvesting. On large farms in Brazil or Vietnam, to meet Nestlé's huge demand, modern harvesting machines are used. Imagine a giant machine moving along rows of trees with 1,500 vibrating bars attached to a rotating shaft. Factory process. Immediately after harvesting, within 8 to 12 hours, the coffee fruit must be processed. If left longer, the sugar in the fruit pulp begins to naturally ferment, creating acid and strange odors, leading to off flavor and increased loss rate. Step 1. Sorting and depulping. Feeding and removing impurities. The fruit is poured into the hopper through a coarse sieve to remove leaves, branches, and small stones. Objective: reduce the risk of scratching the seeds and jamming the shaft in the following stages. Dehulling. Drum depulper. The drum assembly plus the press plate gently presses the shell and flesh away from the kernel. The gap needs to be adjusted. Too tight will break the kernel. Too wide will not separate cleanly. Byproduct, shell, fruit flesh, is not wasted. Collect and compost aerobically into organic fertilizer to return nutrients to the soil, reducing the cost of chemical fertilizers. Quality Control Point, CCP. The kernel breakage rate is less than 2 to 3% after dehulling. Cool, clean water temperature to limit premature fermentation activation. Step 2. Fermentation and washing stage. Objective: remove the mucilage layer remaining on the seed, rich in pectin and sugar. Create a clean, dry parchment surface, silk shell, helping to dry evenly. Brick-lined fermentation tank. After dehulling, the seeds are transferred to a ceramic tile tank containing cool spring water. Time: 12 to 24 hours depending on ambient temperature and mucilage thickness. Biological process. Enzymes and native microorganisms hydrolyze pectin, making mucilage soft and flowing. Step 3. Drying and parchment separation. Drying and hulling. Spreading and turning seeds. Seeds are spread thinly, usually 2 to 4 centimeters, on a drying yard or mesh drying rack to allow air to pass through. Drying time: 1 to 2 weeks depending on sun and wind. Turn seeds every 1 to 2 hours during sunny hours to dry evenly and avoid mold. Coffee processing at the factory. At the Nestlé factory, modern technology begins. Robots operate. Heavy bags of beans are lifted by robots and placed on conveyor belts. Sensors check humidity, and any bags that do not meet standards are discarded. Standard bags are neatly stacked on pallets. Tasting. The most rigorous inspection round. Despite modern machinery, the most important step is still done by humans. Tasters. They can brew up to 100 cups per day, smell, taste, and detect the smallest deviations. Just one bad bean can ruin the whole batch. Roasting. Qualified beans are put into a giant double roaster at 370 to 540 degrees Fahrenheit, 173 to 273 degrees Celsius. The stirrer is constantly stirring to ensure even roasting. Light roast. High caffeine, bright, mild flavor. Dark roast. Low caffeine, bold, smoky, strong flavor. Roasting time is 8 to 20 minutes. After that, the beans are cooled by a strong fan, then ground into a coarse powder. Extraction and drying. The powder is cooked into a concentrated coffee liquid using steam and pressure. Then, this liquid is dried by 2 methods. Spray drying. The coffee liquid is sprayed into mist, meets hot air at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, approximately 400 degrees Celsius, at a speed of 400 miles per hour. The water evaporates instantly, leaving fine powder. Nescafé Classic. Freeze drying. The liquid is concentrated, cooled at -58 degrees Fahrenheit, approximately -16 degrees Celsius, into coffee stone slabs. Crushed, then put into a vacuum chamber at 140 degrees Fahrenheit, approximately 73 degrees Celsius, for 5 hours. The water evaporates directly into steam, keeping the flavor intact. Nescafé Gold. Restaurant process. All of these sophisticated steps are encapsulated in an incredibly simple moment. Just a small spoon, a little hot water, and you have a cup of aromatic coffee. But for this instant moment to happen, behind it is a global packaging and distribution system that operates at an unimaginable speed. Product packaging. In Nestlé factories, After the coffee has gone through the drying stage into granules or powder, they are transferred to the packaging line. Here, the tiny instant coffee beans are stored in large silos, then flow down the conveyor belt to the filling machines. This system operates at an incredible speed. It can fill up to 320 jars per minute. That means within a day, the entire line can produce more than 250,000 jars of coffee, equivalent to the needs of millions of consumers. What is special about this stage is the vacuuming. Each jar, as soon as it is filled with coffee, is immediately sealed. The air is sucked out to prevent oxidation. That is why when you open the jar in the supermarket or at home, the coffee aroma remains as fresh as when it left the roaster. Distribution system. Once packaged, Nescafé coffee does not sit idle in the warehouse for long. It is transported by truck, refrigerated container, ship, plane to more than 180 countries. In Europe, Nescafé Gold jars appear on supermarket shelves just days after leaving the factory in Germany or France. In Asia, from factories in Vietnam or the Philippines, coffee is distributed throughout the region, from bustling Tokyo to small towns in India. All designed to ensure that when a customer pulls a jar of coffee off the shelf, the quality is the same as any other jar anywhere in the world. The brewing moment. You open the jar, spoon a small amount of instant coffee, put it in a cup. Pour boiling hot water. In a split second, the dry, porous crystals begin to dissolve, releasing a rich, roasted aroma. A stream of steam rises, filling the room. If you add milk, the coffee turns a light brown, soft, smooth. Nescafé instant coffee is produced. Nescafé Classic, the base product line, produced by spray drying. Coffee extract is sprayed into hot air at high speed, drying immediately into a fine powder. Nescafé Gold, the premium product line using the freeze-drying method. Coffee extract is frozen at -16 degrees Celsius, -58 degrees Fahrenheit, crushed, then sublimated in a vacuum. Nescafé 3-in-1, a huge success in Asia and Eastern Europe. Each sachet contains coffee, sugar, and milk powder. Just add hot water for a sweet, rich cup of coffee. Nescafé Azzurra, designed specifically for the European market, the product simulates Italian espresso in instant form, with a light crema and rich flavor. Espresso, cappuccino, Amerino are the pride of Italy, while cold brew is the belief of Brooklyn hipsters. Instant coffee, especially Nescafé, has a great meaning for everyone. Regardless of class or geography, instant coffee has become a part of global culture. In war. The image of American soldiers sitting in the trenches, holding a hot tin cup, sipping Nescafé, has become an icon. In offices around the world, instant coffee is the fuel for mornings and stressful working hours. With just a few minutes of break, employees can make a cup of hot coffee on the spot, without the need for complicated machines. In specialized professions, doctors work through the night shift factory workers, long-haul drivers, pilots, flight attendants. In these environments, instant coffee becomes the first choice, easy to prepare, portable, and effective immediately. From the delicate white blossoms blooming across the hills of Brazil to the -58 degrees Fahrenheit freeze-drying chambers where flavor is carefully locked in, and finally to the steaming cup that warms your hands, instant coffee's journey is anything but simple. It is the crystallization of decades of farming wisdom, scientific precision, and cultural evolution, all condensed into a single teaspoon. Every scoop carries with it the labor of farmers who harvest cherries at the perfect moment, the expertise of engineers who refine complex processes, and the dedication of tasters who ensure that each batch meets the highest standards. What seems like just a spoonful of coffee is, in reality, the result of one of the most meticulous food production journeys in the world. And now, we want to hear from you. Are you Team Brewed or Team Instant? Drop your answer in the comments, because whichever side you're on, One thing is certain: the world runs on coffee.